to take your lumps, but what's most important is how you respond to adversity, and they certainly answered the bell on Sunday.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind. David Nuno here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Nick Savage, Callie Gardner helping me out here on the program. Nick, what was your favorite part of the show?
Definitely J.B. Moss, former Aggie outfielder, talking about Aggie baseball, why it's okay that, well, it's not okay, but it's understandable why A&M dropped the series to LSU and how they're going to bounce back in Oxford this weekend.
Yep, they are going to bounce back. Callie, favorite part of the show?
I'm going to go with Tara Henry. I really liked her.
She was good, wasn't she?
Yeah, softball. I think she's a really cool human. Just love hearing from her.
Yeah, it was good. So we had her on the program to talk a little Aggie softball and SEC softball. John Nabors talking Arkansas. We're trying to go through all the teams there in the SEC spring recap / booms or busts. So we talked about Arkansas with John Nabors. And a gentleman who rarely joins us in the 8 o'clock hour, Olin Buchanan, was on the show. That and more is the TexAgs Rewind.
I would ask, who did they lose that's going to be
Let's go through it because it says
in the portal? Because the two guys they lost, that, as we know, that really matter are Anaya Smith and Edrin Cooper.
This is what it says. It says they lost wide receiver Evan Stewart and defensive lineman Walter Nolan, LT Overton, and Fidel Diggs.
Okay, Fidel, you've replaced with Nick Gordon. I think you actually
got a better version.
You barely had Evan Stewart last year.
Right. LT Overton was in and out as well.
What did he do here?
Again, people get fascinated with names and stars. And look, there's a reason there was a coaching change. Certain players did not develop at the level that I think they should have been developed to.
Agreed.
You can maybe say that about the defensive line, but other guys on the defensive line certainly did. But that being said, I understand that there was probably the editors like, hey, let's overreact on every team. And you have to find something. And like, if you were to overreact on something about A&M, what would you overreact about? The defensive line maybe being the best we've seen in the last 10 years?
Yeah, probably.
That'd be an overreaction, which is, by the way, realistic.
It's realistic. It's possible.
Possible. There you go. Better word.
What would I overreact to? Negatively or positively?
Just do both.
Maybe positively, I'd say, man, all the problems at cornerback are solved. You know, they brought in all the guys, and we said overreact.
Yeah, I know.
And they're, you know, now it's a team strength because they got in Will Lee and they got the kid from Alabama. Can't think of his name. And Tyreek Spell's back and da-da-da-da-da. And look at all these guys who were freshmen last year. Now they're sophomores. Man, that all those questions at cornerback are no longer a problem. Now, if I'm going to overreact negatively, I was like, well, you know, the receiver position.
That's exactly the one.
That's just, you know.
You lose.
They're not going to complete a pass.
You lose Anaya Smith and you lose Evan Stewart. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you going to be better there? I think it's been more than I thought, but it's been 2-3 seasons since that epic Ole Miss Arkansas game that came down to the wire, the 50-plus game. So, like, to see where Ole Miss is now and where Arkansas has fallen, I want to go through their schedule quickly and just throw you some of the 50-50 games. And, you know, and I don't even know if some of these are 50-50 games. Oklahoma State, they've lost some guys. Is that a 50-50 game? Does Arkansas have a chance going to Stillwater there? There's the Auburn game, which I think Auburn's going to be super improved this year, especially their wide receiver room. I'm not going to call the A&M game a 50-50 game because A&M has owned that series, even though they're close typically. Mississippi State, maybe a 50-50 game. There's a lot of these games that I can't make an argument today that Arkansas would win.
No, I mean, I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you. I can't sit there and say with full confidence that, oh, yeah, Arkansas is going to win this game minus playing UAPB and Little Rock on Thursday night to start the season. Like that's probably the best one I can look at and be, oh, yeah, for sure, they'll win that one. But no, I'm with you. It's real. Again, it goes back to that Oklahoma State game. The reason I look at that as a 50-50 matchup is because, you know, that you feel like that's where it usually goes pretty well. People are most healthy right now, and you get that extra week and a half technically to get prepared for Oklahoma State. And so if you're able to do that, go on the road and with an experienced offense, especially an experienced quarterback, especially, I think that there could be an element to where they go in there and win. And if they do, then it's going to set them apart. But I guess another hope is that Oklahoma State usually finishes a lot stronger than they start during the season. So maybe you can lean on that. But yeah, that's what's interesting for Razorback fans is it's like they could beat Mississippi State, depending on what Mississippi State is. They could beat an Auburn team if they're as improved as what people feel like, but there's still some uncertainties there. And, the A&M game, I'm not saying Arkansas fans feel like they're winning because, as you mentioned, it's the stupidest game that everyone hates because it's always so annoying and so weird.
I love it.
They don't really know what Elko is going to do, so who knows? Maybe that's a game that they can at least find a way to win. So right now, I think everybody feels the same way you do. There's not really a lot of confidence in these, quote, 50-50 games you mentioned.
And I'm going to go ahead and be biased. The tremendous job that Trisha Ford has done with this team here in 2 years.
Incredible. I'm just a huge fan of Trisha Ford, and I remember when she got the job just 2 years ago. I was on a local radio station, and just talked about how excited I was for Trisha Ford because I think she's an incredible recruiter. I think she develops talent, and we're seeing the fruits of her labor here in just year two, in arguably the toughest conference across the country. So yes, huge Trisha Ford fan, and excited to see how the Ags do in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you were to describe, how would you describe a Trisha Ford team? Obviously, we know about the development, the personality, but the way they tackle the game of softball.
They're just really gritty, and you can never count out her squad. And I think no matter what the score is, they're just constantly fighting every pitch, every at bat, whether they're on offense, whether they're on defense, and no lead is ever big enough. And they're just a gritty squad and compete every single pitch. And you don't really see that across the country. I think there's a lot of teams that do that, but when you see the Aggies play, and I'm sure that you're well aware, they're just a squad that rolls up their sleeves and gets it done any way possible.
Talking to Tara Henry here on TexAgs Radio. When we talk about this team, though, you got to talk about Emily Kennedy and the job she's done there in the circle. Just her growth, and she's become a dominant force this year.
Well, she's a tall lefty and is throwing gas from the left side. So that's hard to hit. And a 1.67 ERA on the season, 20 wins as well. Just a game changer in the circle. Again, Trisha Ford really taking that pitching staff to new heights. And she has been solid for the Aggies. With the 10 losses, that's tough going either way. But again, in the SEC, as we've seen, and we head into the SEC tournament, it's just a tough conference to pick wins up with. But a game changer in the circle in lefty for the Aggies.
Go back to Baton Rouge and just your initial takeaways from that rough series.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the series. I had a busy weekend, but certainly kept up with the box scores. And, I certainly understand Coach Slosh is disappointed in their performance. There's something about Aggies and LSU. We certainly don't like each other, and I would certainly have rather them lose another series than to the Tigers. But listen, we talk about it all the time, and this is 30 games of the ultimate grind in the SEC, and you're not going to win every series. Nobody does, and you're going to take your lumps. But what's most important is how you respond to adversity, and they certainly answered the bell on Sunday, and expect them to get back on track next weekend in Oxford.
Yeah, we're talking to JB Moss here on TexAgs Radio. A couple things that happened this weekend that I think caught my attention was how often is Braden Montgomery going to go hitless in a weekend, right? Or how often does he go hitless in a game for that part? Just the fact that he wasn't able to get off to Schneid, and hopefully we see him later on today out there hacking away.
Yeah, hey, I think you're pretty safe putting your money on Braden Montgomery responding back today. I think I heard you earlier in the program that he's 0 for his last 18, if that's correct. And listen, but they call it a batting average for a reason, right? I mean, you're going to go through ebbs and flows, ups and downs. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a round field with a round bat, a round ball, and there's 8 players standing in the middle of it. So, it's a game of failure. And, but Braden is a hard worker by all accounts, and obviously extremely talented. So he's the least of my worries moving forward.
JB, what's the longest hitless streak you had that you can remember?
Oh gosh, you try to forget those as a player for sure. I'm sure I've had some over 18s in there, especially in pro ball. Pro ball is so challenging because the depth and the quality of pitching is so much more advanced. But yeah, I definitely had some over 20s, I'm sure.
Callie, tell the people what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell all your friends about it, and watch us every day on YouTube or the CW or the TexAgs Live.
That was fantastic.
Thanks.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot. Ready?
Oh, gosh.
We asked you earlier the song, going back to Callie, without Googling, who sang /rapped that song?
Oh, who sang it?
Yeah.
Oh dang! I was ready to give you the year it came out because someone texted that in.
If I told you lovely ladies love Cool J, you would say?
LL Cool J.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he calls. That's how you got the name. Now, for our younger audience, you're like, who are you talking about? Our older audience, rap again. We'll see you next time. It's TexAgs Rewind.